Now, can you hear me now? I think there was a problem. So once again, hi, I'm Erika of beadingschool.com and you are watching No One Has to Bead Alone, my weekly open workshop, beading workshop to make sure that everyone, every beader all around the world has company. And today we are going to bead the AMYRIS earrings, which were designed from the newest Beading School Academy team box, the Dangerous Liaisons, and I can't wait to see all your variations. And I see Gemma joining us. She says, "Hi from Spain. Today I have received my 2 boxes and I'm thrilled to begin using all the beautiful pieces that were inside." Gemma, first comment that I see today, and so good, great news. So happy for you, and enjoy your boxes to the fullest. Then I see Cindy and Facebook user friend Lita, Marta. Today a post popped up on my personal Facebook profile. I rarely switch to that. I'm always like reading school. And you were commenting exactly like 2 years ago on that post saying like, yay, this was the first No One Has to Bead Alone where I joined, or something like first time that you checked out beading school. So we have a personal anniversary, 2 years. So nice. And Ginny is here, and Jen is here, Carol, and Rachel, and Corinne, and Susan, and Bex is here, and Joyce is here, and Sherry, and Sangita, and Jennifer, and Cindy, and Sarah, and Catherine. Laura is here, Louise is here, Antoinette. Facebook user friend also got her box already yesterday. Sarah also got her box. Irina, Vanda. Lita also got her boxes and goodies. And she's having fun. Then Kimberly is here, and Marjorie, and Marianne, and Liv, and Sophia, and Molly, and Sheila. And Sheila, for some reason, didn't get an answer. I'm so sorry about that, Sheila. I will look into it personally. And I apologize, of course, for the belated answer. And I will write it down now so I don't forget. Just a moment. Thank you for your patience. And Anita is here, and Ellie, and Deb. Wonderful ladies. And if you haven't heard your name, then it means that I don't see your name. And if you are watching from the Beading School Facebook Club, which is a closed, safe space on the internet only for Beading School beaders, then you need to give additional permission to my broadcasting program to see your name and to see your profile. It doesn't do anything else, just shows me your name, and then it makes it easier for me to answer your questions. And also, I think it's a lot more like nicer. In Dutch, there is a word, gezellig. Try to say that, gezellig. It's like family feeling, cozy atmosphere. So, yeah. If you would like to do that, please click the link in the last sentence of the description of the video, and then I will be able to greet you personally. I also see Linda there, and Terry, and Amy, and Yosin, and Cindy. So today it's AMYRIS on our bead mats, and it is one of the first designs from the Dangerous Liaisons box that we can make together. And it will show you another way how to bezel and work with the Preciosa Nacre cabochons, the small 8mm ones, and another way of bezeling with the Miyuki quarter Tilas. And Ula, I do see you now. Thank you so much for clicking the link. And let's see, what do you need for the AMYRIS? I will put up a big picture of the earring that I made and also the material list. So let's see. The focal is going to be, as I said, an 8mm Preciosa Nacre cabochon. By the way, while I am checking my material list, and hopefully you are also checking your material list, then you can also download the PDF tutorial that makes it easier for you to follow the workshop from no-one-has-to-bead-alone.com. As always, there are two options waiting for you. The first option is to download the tutorial as a gift from us if you need a helping hand and you would like to be here no matter what, then please download the gift tutorial. And if you would like to support the broadcast, and we really, really appreciate it, just as all of your orders and trust towards us, then you can also put it into your shopping basket and purchase it. So two options waiting for you. And the PDF, it comes to your inbox, or you can download it from the page, depending on which way do you choose. You can print it, you can save it for later to your computer. And yeah, while you are doing that, no-one-has-to-bead-alone.com, then I'm also checking the material list. So, Preciosa Nacre cabochon as the focal, 8mm one, and I am using the custom coated pearlescent pink that is included in your box. All the colors that I am working with today, they come from the Dangerous Liaisons box, so all is there waiting for you. And you will also need PaisleyDuos, 8 pieces for one motif. I'm saying the numbers for one motif. And then, of course, you can double it if you would like an earring. But I know that some of our beaders like pendants, some of our beaders like brooches, some of our beaders like to go big for a full necklace or for a bracelet. So it makes more sense, in my opinion, to give you the numbers for one motif, and then you can multiply it if you would like to. You also need some diamond duos or GemDuos. Then you actually, from the diamond duos or GemDuos, 4 pieces for one motif. Then there is bicon 4mm on the picture, but you don't actually need that. I will explain you why it got there. Optionally, you might be able to use it. I will show you my variation for with the bicons in a little while. You will also need 3mm fire polished beads, since they are also on the back of the bezel, and there are 8 pieces on the back of the bezel. Then for one motif, you will need 16 pieces. Then there are also 3mm check round glass pearls included, and from those you need 12 pieces for one motif. Then there are, of course, the quarter Tilas that I mentioned, and those are essential for the bezel of the pearlescent cabochon, the Preciosa Nacre cabochon. And you will need, there are 2 layers, and 2 times 8, 16 Miyuki quarter Tilas for one motif. You will also need some size 15 round seed beads, I am using 2 different colors and then some Miyuki Delica size 11s. So this is it. And besides that, you need also some metal components to personalize your jewel. So in my case, I'm using this pretty chandelier one, the romance connector, and I'm using an earring finding with cubic zirconia. Marianne mentions that she has another color of PaisleyDuos in her box, and sometimes it happens. I always tell that during the unboxing videos, if there are 2 or maybe sometimes 3 alternating colors in the box. And the reason is that sometimes from a specific shape, it's super hard and impossible to get such a big amount. So we combine several colors in the boxes, but all of them, they fit the overall color scheme. So your jewels, no matter which variation you receive, your jewels will be beautiful. And in this case, it is the PaisleyDuos that have 2 alternating colors indeed. And in the meanwhile, Molly is asking, hi Molly, did we have to prepare the nacre pearl beforehand or do we do it now? We do this from scratch from the beginning, so no worries, dear Molly. And Betty joined us, Jill, Lutka, Rachel is waiting for her box, so working with other colors. Kristen joined us, Harmony joined us. And the Facebook user friend says, it feels so good to bead after a few months of a bed slump and picking colors, combining Northern-Sea and current box. That will be super interesting, I think. Please keep us posted with your creations in the club. And Sophia has a question. Do you think an 8mm chaton will fit there too? I have a feeling that it will fit, but I did not try it with that, so I don't have 100% answer for you. My gut feeling is yes, but Sophia, dear, please try it and please let us know. You can always post your creation in the beading school club and then say okay, fellow clubbers, I tried this, it worked, but I had to modify this. It worked and I didn't have to modify, or it didn't work. So please keep us updated, share the beading knowledge, and keep the inspiration flowing. So, lovelies, do you have any questions about today's motif in advance, about the material list, something else than the nacre cabochon chaton change? Angelica! I see you now. So good to see you. Big hug. Now I see you. And for Harmony, it will be her first time working with GemDuos and Paisleys. Then have lots of fun, Harmony, and be mindful of the GemDuos and Paisleys. The GemDuos have a flat bottom and a domed top, so please make sure to turn them with the flat bottom towards the bottom of the towards the back of the motif, and orientate the Paisleys according to the illustrations to make sure that they are that they look how they are supposed to be. And hi, Robin. And if there are no more questions, then I will change my camera to my hand camera and I will put up the illustrations and let's get started. Cindy says she can see Angelica's name because you are all on Facebook, but I'm in a program, so it's only me who can't see the names sometimes. You can always see each other. So this will be the first illustration, and I will switch to my hand camera, and please let me know afterwards if the technical stuff is good. So you should be able to see my hand camera. I just switched to a better quality, and hopefully you can also hear me. And hi Niti, good to see you. Thank you so much. So then let's get started. This is, by the way, I also would like to show you how the back of the motif looks like to give you a better understanding of what's happening on your bead mat. And we are going to start with the inside circle on the back of the pendant, and then create another layer, and then we will slip in the nacre cabochon and close the bezel around it. And to do that, we will start working with the quarter tilas and with the first color of the Miyuki size 15 seed beads. For this part of the motif, magic number is 8. That means that we repeat or pick up the same bead 8 times. We will need 8 pieces of Miyuki quarter tilas and 8 pieces of round 15s interchangeably. I have 3, 4, 5 for now. 6, 7, and 8. Let's double check this. 8, 8. And then I'm letting my beads slide towards the end of my thread. I'm using Fireline 0.012 millimeter 4LB in black satin. And I leave a tail thread of about 5-6 inches, 10-15 centimeters, and I bead through all of the beads one more time to create that little circle that will hold the cabochon from the back side. And then I also bead through the very first Miyuki quarter Tila that I picked up. So now when I pull my thread, then the tail thread and the working end, they are hanging from opposite directions from the inside hole of the same quarter Tila bead. And I need to continue now by beading through the outside hole of the same quarter Tila that I was just exiting. And here is a bigger gap in between the outside holes, the still open holes of the Miyuki quarter Tilas. And guess what? The 3 millimeter fire polished beads, they fit there exactly. So you are exiting the outside hole of the quarter Tila, pick up a 3 millimeter fire polished bead, and then bead through the outside hole of the next quarter Tila. And again, magic number 8. So you need to do this 8 times. Mary likes how the back looks like. Marta has a question, a very good one. She says, does it matter which side of the quarter Tila we use, bump side or flat side? Like, if I want to be very, very, like 100% perfectionist, then in this case, the flat side of the quarter Tilas, in my opinion, should face upwards and then rest nicely on the back of the pearlescent the Preciosa Nacre cabochon, but I was not very particular when picking up my quarter tilas this time. Sometimes some colors, they have a bigger difference in the bumpy side and the flat side. With this, there is a small difference, but not as dramatic in my opinion. But for the front side, for that front layer with quarter tilas, I will make sure to turn the quarter tilas in a way that the bumpy side is outside and the flat side is inside. But now, since this will be on the back and I don't see a dramatic difference and I'm beading on camera, then I was not that particular about this. In the meanwhile, I created this outside circle from the with the 3mm fire polished beads, and I just continue a little bit until my working thread is exiting the second fire polished bead that I have added. So this is how it looks like at the moment. And Rachel says, I love it when a shape fits perfectly in its little space. And this is, I'm with you, Rachel, and I think this is like very satisfactory how the 3mm fire polished beads, they fit exactly. Harmony is asking, would it make a big difference to use half tilas? Yes, because they are twice the width of a quarter tila, so that is a very big difference. The whole circle would be a lot bigger. What you can try is to create a smaller circle, so not 8 repetitions, but less repetitions, but that means that you completely need to rethink the tutorial. So there will be lots and lots of adjustments. Lita says this could be a component itself. And indeed, as Sophia says, also a post earring, this small part of it. And let's see what's happening in step 2. In step 2, I'm adding that second layer of quarter tilas. And there will be the pearlescent, the pretty pearlescent cabochon between the first and the second layer. So I'm exiting a quarter tila, and now I make sure that the bumpy side will face the top of the motif. I pick up the quarter tila and then I bead through the next fire polished bead. Again, I do this 8 times, and I already turn my quarter tilas in a way how they will hug in between the 2 layers, the nacre cabochon. And just as with the AMYRIS bracelet, where we have like a bezel as the base, then also with this motif, the bezel of the cabochon can be extended in many, many different ways, actually. So I hope that someone out there, dear beaders, will have the mood and the time to experiment with it and maybe finish it in a different way. And I'm nearly done with this part. So I slide in the cabochon. For now, I will hold it with my thumb. And I add the very last quarter tila. For now, as you can see, the quarter tilas are not holding down the pearlescent nacre cabochon, but I'm holding it with my thumb. And after adding that last quarter Tila, I continue beading until I'm exiting the second new one. I don't like to start the new step, the next step right away. And I get ready for step 3 by beading through the second open hole of the same quarter Tila. And Niti says, my new favorite component now are these Nacre pearl cabochons. I enjoy working with them. I'm so happy, Niti. These are custom coated for beading school beaders. Normally they are not available at all. And thanks to the growing community, we could order them because there was a very big amount that we had to order. And we trusted you all that you will like them. So that's why we went in okay, maybe it's time. And then some of the colors are actually gone. So thank you so much for loving them. And let's see what's happening in step 3. In step 3, we are joining the open holes of this second top layer of quarter Tilas by adding 3mm round pearls in between. So I will also show you the motif from the side so you can see that it has some depth, so it will not be as flat as usually we are having the motifs. And Claire joined in the meanwhile. And Sophia says, this is my favorite motif in this team. The bezeling technique really speaks to me. Dear Sophia, I'm very happy about that. Terry is asking, I have a question regarding the mini challenge. Can we use any color of 16mm nacre cap from the shop, or do we have to use only the blue color from the box? Dear Terry, you can use any color, but please make sure that the piece that you are creating is inspired by the theme that we are working with. And I'm super happy that you are thinking about your new challenge piece already. On Tuesday, during Coffee Time with Erika, I shared with you an additional detail about the mini challenge. So while normally the only rule is, well, besides the general rules of create a finished jewel, make a nice photo, upload the photo in the designated time. So normally the only rule is that create something that is inspired by the theme. Now we would like to challenge our beaders who are aspiring to be the talent winner to create something with the 16mm bezel that you learned in the Oris bracelet and expand it in your own way. And Rachel loves the pearls as they are timeless. And Linda is asking, will you be getting more in from the pearlescent nacre cabochon? I'm afraid for a while, no, because this was really a huge amount. And I expect that most of our beaders stocked up on the pearlescent nacre cabochons. So the amount that is in the bead shop at the moment, I mean the boxes, because we have also dangerous fuchsia boxes for a super good value, and also the colors one by one in the bead shop. For now, that is the whole amount that we have, and I think for quite some time we will not be able to restock them. Oh, Linda was asking about the 10mm cabochons. Yes, already ordered. Already ordered. No worries. Those will be back. Lita says, my cab isn't holding. What's wrong? We will still need the next step. Don't worry. Kristen asks, maybe for Advent? From the pearlescent colors, we will not be getting new for Advent, I'm afraid. So this is it, really. If you like them, go for them until stock lasts. And step 4 is when we are making sure that the cabochon holds really well. Steps 4 and 5. So I have the circle indeed, and it's too big for now. What we need to do in step 4, that I'm exiting a quarter Tila. I beaded all around one more time, by the way, to make this sturdy, and exiting the quarter Tila. I pick up 2 pieces of my second color of the round 15s. I skip the 3mm round pearl, and I bead through the next Miyuki quarter Tila. And this will make the circle on top of the cabochon a lot smaller. I repeat this 7 more times, magic number 8. And Lita, please keep me updated that when you make step 4 and 5, that how is your bezel behaving? It should be okay after that. And for Advent, not the pearlescent cabochons, they won't be restocked, but there will be so many nice things. The whole week we were actually working on plans and already ordering pretty things and arranging all kinds of surprises, also with fellow designers, for something completely new, actually. So, it's going to be a good Advent season again. At this stage, please be, ow, 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 ow. So I wanted to say that please be careful not to break the quarter tilas, because they tend to be easy to chip. And at that second, I managed to push the needle under my fingernail. So I can also add that also please be careful and not to do that. It hurts. And Sherry says the Advent is so much fun and lots of pretties. Oh, it's like a very intense time period, but also I love it. It's so nice to see your excitement and see you loving the goodies. And in several weeks, I think in 2 weeks or 3, I just made the schedule. We will have a complete coffee time with Erika dedicated to Advent, to answer all your questions, and if you are new to beading school, then to tell you everything about what's that craziness that everyone is talking about. And Facebook user friend says, what two colors of 15s are you using? So these are from my Fuchsia Beading School Academy box, Fuchsia level, the current team. We still have a few boxes available. My first color is the number 4206 Duracoat Galvanized Muscat. And the second color is 134 FR Matte Light Brown AB. Oh, Terry loves the bezel. Lita is frogging a little bit because of colors. So this is how it looks like in the meanwhile after step 4. So you can see that indeed that circle of size 15s made it a lot more secure already, but we still have work to do to make it super sturdy and safe. So in step 5, we are going to bead all around, only through the size 15s in that small inside circle 2 times to nicely pull them together. Oh, and Sophia says, I'm going through a weird stage at the moment when I cannot combine colors, completely stuck and lost when it comes to colors. I hope this passes. And dear Sophia, how you feel is completely normal. After 15 years of beading, more or less 15 years, I can say that this happens from time to time to all of us, with colors, with shapes, with everything that you can imagine in beading. What is super important, that be kind to yourself, take it easy, don't push. When you feel like you are getting frustrated, then take a break, please, and do something else that makes you happy. It can also be something else that is enriching at the end your beading life, like looking at into a book about art, going to a museum, reading an article about jewelry, but something else. And when that phase of frustration passes, then give it another try maybe. And also, while you experience this frustration, then you can also just, of course, and you can always, not just when you feel frustrated, but anytime when you have a question or you need some friendly beady advice, then just ask in the beading school club, and we will be there to help you with advice and everything that you need. And in the meanwhile, I finished repeating 2 times the circle, and now I need to get on the outside edge of my bezel. So the bezel itself is done. So I bead it through a 1/4 Tila, both of its holes, and I also bead through a 3mm fire polished bead. So this is how it looks like. Back side, front side. Facebook user friend says a color wheel helps. And Cindy says she used seafoam beads, but she finds it loose. Dear Cindy, did you already put in the size 15s? Is it also loose after the size 15s? And hello, dear Mary. I hope your doggy will get better. And Kimberly has some good advice. She says, Sophia, this happens. Sometimes it is because you are going through a growth change of some sort, and the brain is focusing on other things. At the end of the phase, you will find that your creativity will grow and be even better. Embrace it and be okay with it. It will come back. And that's such a clever thing to say. Thank you so much for sharing, Kimberly. And Rachel says, when I get stuck with combining colors, I just stop beading and I start to clean up my work area, separate my colors and shapes that need to be sorted. That sometimes helps. Thank you so much also for sharing that, Rachel. You are so right. And Cindy says, read the flow book. We were talking about it on Tuesday. Back to my bezel. I'm going to add some Miyuki Delica beads and some size 15s in my first color in between the 3mm fire polished beads. So I am exiting a 3mm fire polished bead. I pick up Delica, round 15 Delica, and I bead through the next fire polished bead. I skip the quarter Tila in between. And I repeat this again. Magic number is 8, so I repeat it 7 more times to complete my circle. These Delica beads, they will not be very, very visible, but I think this frame of blue breaks the motif into 2 parts and enhances the inside bezel a bit more. Oh, Angelica also needs some love for her kitty. So indeed, lots of love and virtual hugs to our animals, friends. Friends, families. I miss having a doggy so much. So every time when I visit someone who has a pet, then I'm using that occasion to the fullest to like get them to know and pet them and scratch them and play with them. And last week, when I was visiting the beading school Treasury in Slovakia, then you might know that lately we are working with a super talented young photographer, Mona, and she invited me to her home for the evening. She baked me a cake, and it was the best cake that I have ever had. And she also had cats, so I was also like trying to make friends with the kitties. In the meanwhile, I completed my circle. So I have the 8 repetitions of this trio of extra beads, Delica around 15 Delica. And after adding the last group, I continued through a fire polished bead and I also bead through a Delica and the round 15. So I should finish this step, you should finish also this step by exiting around 15 in the middle of this group, of one of the groups that we added. And Angelica says, I absolutely love the motif at step 5. Perfect standalone component. Thank you so much, Angelica. And I can totally imagine also a matching bracelet, maybe like interchangeably using different cabochons, different colors of cabochons, or maybe Sophia succeeds with the chaton and maybe you can like use one nacre, then a chaton, one nacre, one chaton. Let us know, by the way, Sophia, how is it going with your chaton? I'm very curious. But also, as indeed we were talking about it at the beginning, you could also insert a flat pad ear stud and wear this directly on your ear as a small earring, or maybe like joining onto it. Ooh, you could join here the big motif. This would be such a pretty earring also. Wow. Wow. And Irena has a good idea. She says, if your bezel still feels too loose, use the tail to reinforce the back inner ring. Really helped me. Thank you for sharing that, Irena. Irena. So, let's see what's happening in step 6. The big beads are coming now, the 2-hole beads. So, again, be careful when working with 2-hole beads that when you are going through the first hole only, also already check the second hole if that is also nicely open, because sometimes it happens that there is a shard of glass and the hole is clogged, and it's not a nice surprise if you discover it later. If you can push out that shard of glass, I would still recommend throwing away that piece of bead. It happens very rarely, but it does happen because it can stay sharp. And with the GemDuos, make sure to orientate the flat side towards the bottom, the back of the motif. So let's add the big beads now. So I will be adding them in between 2 round 15s. So I pick up a PaisleyDuo, I pick up a DiamonDuo. You can substitute the DiamonDuos to the GemDuos. They are exactly of the same shape and size, just the top cut is different. And another PaisleyDuo. So this is how they should be orientated. It's very important. And then you bead through the nearest round 15. And now, instead of picking up the same combination right away, you need to get here, because now, instead of having the magic number 8, we will switch to half of it, magic number 4. So we will be adding this combination of PaisleyDuo, DiamonDuo, PaisleyDuo in between into every second gap. So this gap, this big gap, will stay open, and then I will be adding the combination of PaisleyDuo, DiamonDuo, PaisleyDuo to the second gap only, and then to the fourth gap, and then to the sixth gap. And Laura also has some advice to share. Thank you so much, dear Laura. She says, loving the bezel. I tried using 3mm bicons instead of the 3mm pearls, but it didn't feel the bezel was quite as secure, so I have redone it with the 3mm round beads from the box. And thank you for sharing that, Laura, because it's also so important to know, not only important to know what works, but also important to know what doesn't work. As I know our beaders, then lots of us might have the inclination to try this with more bling. So thank you so much, Laura, for sharing that. You already tried it. So now again, I skipped this gap and I'm adding the third group of beads. PaisleyDuo DiamonDuo, another PaisleyDuo. Then again, I skip the next one. And I add the last group of 2 paisleys and 1 DiamonDuo in between. Ooh, and Irena is using different color of PaisleyDuos, and indeed she says that she has quite a lot of clogged ones. I'm so sorry to hear. Indeed, that's a proof that we need to check. It's always better to check. I have added now the 4th group of beads. Again, I need to get through the very first group that I have added because I don't like to start the new step right away. I will start it only after I crossed the second new group. And when you are doing that, then please be careful not to break the beads, because this step is also one of those when maybe we want to rush. I already want to start the next step, but it's better to take it step by step and go slowly. So this is the second new group that I added, and I will repeat the thread pass fully through this second new group too. And I finish this step by beading through the second open hole of the second PaisleyDuo from this group. And now my thread will be hanging towards the DiamonDuo. So this is how it looks like. And we are nearly there. In the next step, we will need 3mm fire polished beads again, and also some round 15 Miyukis. So I'm exiting the PaisleyDuo. I pick up a 3mm fire polished bead and a Miyuki round 15 seed bead. I cross the second outside hole of the DiamonDuo, and I pick up the same combination but in a reverse order. So round 15 and 3mm fire polished bead. And for this part, I will also need some 3mm round pearls. So I pick up one and then directly I bead through the second hole of the first PaisleyDuo from the next group. And I'm going to repeat this 3 more times. And I mentioned earlier that by accident there were actually 4mm bicone beads on the first image with the material list, but there is a reason. So the reason is because when I beaded my first motif, when I was actually designing this, then I used 4mm bicone beads for this part in between the PaisleyDuo beads. However, when I was proof beading it, then I had a feeling that they don't fit, and I actually can't explain how can that happen, because I am using the same beads, same batch, same thread tension, everything is 100% the same. But with the first one, the 4mm bicones set nicer, and with the second motif, the 3mm round pearls are sitting nicer. So you can, of course, try this with the 4mm bicons, but I have a feeling that this version is more like this is working better. So that's why I selected this for the tutorial. But maybe something to try. And Laura, here is maybe, if you want to bring in more bling, maybe here is the part where you can add maybe not a 4 but a 3mm bicon. And now I'm adding the same 3mm fire polished bead plus round 15, crossing the DiamonDuo, then round 15 3mm fire polished bead and crossing the PaisleyDuo. Then again, I pick up a 3mm round pearl and I can do my third repetition now. And I am adding the very last 3mm round pearl, completing my circle, but not yet the full step. This is how it looks like at the moment, but I will continue until exiting the first 3mm round pearl that I added in this step, sitting in between the PaisleyDuos. Angelica has a recommendation for a color. She says the Miyuki Dark Bronze 457 matches the metal component seamlessly, by the way. Thank you so much, Angelica, for sharing that. That bronze color, that is one of my absolute favorites. I think it matches so many other colors of beads too, and makes or jewelry like adds this vintage vibe, which I really like lately. So I love it. I always have a big amount at home. So this is how my motif looks like after step 7. And let's see what's happening in step 8. In step 8, I'm starting out from that 3mm round pearl sitting in between the PaisleyDuos. I need to pick up 6 pieces of the round 15s, and I skip the PaisleyDuo and I bead through the fire polished bead and the round 15 on the other side of the PaisleyDuo. So with these seed beads, we will frame the motif and it will become more elegant, and I think it's a really nice addition. The Miyuki is 134 FR, Irene. Now, my thread is hanging from around 15, facing the DiamonDuo, and I pick up 4 pieces of the same round 15. You could also go for another color here, and then the corners, because it is somewhat of a square shape motif, the corners would be more enhanced if you use another color here. In the meanwhile, I picked up those four round 15s and I beaded through the outside hole of the diamond duo in the opposite direction. I bead through 2 out of the 4 round 15s. I pick up 1 extra piece, and then I continue into the 3rd and 4th, and also through the round 15 and fire polished bead next to this sequence. And now again, I pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of the round 15s. I skip the paisley and I bead through the 3mm round pearl. And I hope that you like the look of it. I really like this seed bead addition on the outside edge. And I'm going to repeat this 3 more times. So again, I pick up 6 pieces. I skip the paisley and I bead through a fire polished bead and a round 15. I pick up 4 pieces of round 15s. I bead through the outside hole of the diamond duo in the opposite direction. I pull my thread, then I bead through 2 of the new round 15s. I pick up an extra one. I bead through the 3rd and the 4th, and also through the next round 15 and 3mm fire polished bead. And now it's time to pick up again 4, 5, 6 round 15s. I skip the paisley and I bead through the 3mm round pearl. And lovelies, I am getting close to finishing this motif, so please let me know if you have any kind of questions. Sheila, I'm getting back to you very soon. I wrote down your name, and as some beaders said, maybe your package is already on the way, but I apologize that you did not get an answer yet, and I'm looking into it ASAP. And Bex likes this look. She says this seed bead framing makes the motif look like a beautiful filigree. Indeed. Indeed, I think it matches the theme very nicely, and I'm glad that you like it, Bex. Sherry also likes it. She says it's beautiful. I'm super happy, Sherry. It's also pretty fast. The first part, when we are doing the bezel of the Nacre cabochon, it takes a little bit of time, but then since we are working mostly with big shaped beads, then it is pretty fast. And then you have quite a substantial big motif. Angelica even said that she finds it a little bit heavy. Loretta also received her box today. And Lita says, just finished step 5 and my nacre cab is tight and secure. Super happy for you, Lita. Nice. So ladies, is it going to be a pair of earring on your bead mats, a pendant, a pretty brooch? Let me know, I'm curious. I will end up having 3 motifs, 2 identical ones for the earrings with the 3mm round pearls, but I also have this extra motif that I showed you earlier with the turquoise Preciosa bicons instead of the 3mm pearls. And I didn't make a decision yet that if it should become a brooch or maybe a necklace. I am thinking a bit more about a necklace. I could bead a rope and attach it here into this component and then have a matching pair of earrings. So I'm more inclined towards that. But I also still have a brooch base, so let's see. Ooh, Linda says she will make earrings with the small motif on top. And that will be super nice, Linda. Yosin, she says, I'm making a pendant necklace. Oh, that's going to be nice too. So I'm switching back now. And I hope that you enjoyed beading this and you had fun. And I'm sure that you will have lots of beautiful jewels on your bead mat. And I can't wait to see them all on Monday morning. And thank you so much for spending this time with me and spending this time with fellow beaders from all around the world. And thank you so much for all your lovely comments and beautiful pictures in the Beading School Club. I really, really appreciate it when you are showing each other the jewels, and especially how you support each other in being proud of ourselves. Those good vibes are, I think, the best part of the club. So thank you so much, ladies, for creating that nice atmosphere, supporting each other. I would also really like to thank you for all your orders that you placed in the Beading School bead shop during this past week. It means a lot to us that you love what we are doing for you, and through those orders you enable us to be here for you, to come back with No One Has to Bead Alone, with coffee time, with all the tutorials and everything. I'm super happy that you also like the new cabochons. We have these small ovals now in the metal claws that you need for the coumarin pendant, and also many more. This is my favorite, by the way. And this is also the same shape and size that you need for the Together necklace. So maybe if you would like to revisit it with different colors, then this is the time. I also have a work in progress still with some red and purple and gray that I need to finish. Just the finishing touches, so I'm very, very close. And we also past week restocked the big Preciosa cabochons, the 16mm buttons that are in the middle of the coumarin pendant. And the boxes, the fuchsia boxes, are also available, containing 15 colors, 2 pieces of each. And they were also restocked one by one, if you would like to have more of these. And let me know if you still have more questions. I see a question from, I just saw one. Where is it? Where is it? Marta will make a bracelet, by the way. I'm scrolling through the comments a little bit towards to the back. Jill will make a pendant with a romance connector. Laura is going to make a brooch, and she loved beading it. Thank you for beading it with us, Laura. Cindy's making earrings. Robin was watching. Good to see you, Robin. Anita has a question. Erika, if you bead a necklace, will you share how you put it together? One of the projects I'm trying to finish is a beaded robe. Anita, I will share it. I will take pictures and share it with you. I make very, very simple beaded robes only from one strand of beads to take it easy and fast. And can you please take a picture of the particular necklace that you are making and post it in the club so I can look into it more, because there can be differences and I don't want to say a general advice while I don't know that if it might work for that particular necklace that you have on your bead mat or not. But I will also show you my general process. I will make a note of it. And Lutka is wishing everyone a beautiful and happy weekend. Joyce is asking, when you make a necklace with beads, do you use beading thread? Dear Joyce, I still use the same good old Fireline. I don't own any other beading thread. Okay, I own one little one in a case, in the very improbable case that I would want to make a fringe, but for everything else, I use the Fireline also for the part around my neck. Marjorie has a question. Erika, when are you doing coumarin? Dear Marjorie, the tutorial is online, both for the earrings and for the pendant. It comes with the same download. So if you are a Beading School Academy student, then make sure to log in, and then the price will automatically get reduced to 0, because coumarin is the first signature jewel and it is included in all the memberships. It is not coming as a video tutorial. It is coming as a PDF that you can follow and bead. Marta is asking, are the cabochons half drilled? They are actually, for the coumarin, the big ones, the 16mm ones, they are half drilled, but I don't use that hole. But there is a possibility. Sophia says she was busy and she will be rewatching later. And thanks, Ginny, for your company. Thanks, Anita. And Ula's making earrings. And thank you, everyone. If you don't have any more questions, then I would like to again thank you for your company. Can't wait to see your jewels and wish you a beautiful, peaceful, creative weekend. See you next week on Tuesday with Coffee Time with Erika, and see you also again on Friday. With No One Has to Bead Alone with Veronika's Tier Polo earrings. You can find the event calendar already at beadingschool.com. Bye-bye.